Good evening, everybody. System Chalk here with, I believe it's the 44th episode of the Apostle Obsonate playthrough as Ike Upscribe. So, I have had a little bit of time between recording the last episode, so we had the study verb open. I thought that might have been because I had a book available. I seem to remember there was something that was going to club me over the head for not paying attention. So we'll review the playing field. Sunset right of the map's edge are the two that I thought I had, but didn't. I think I mistook it for the right of seas fasting, but either way, we have what we need to be able to get some relatively easy summons. The Callagine is already with us, and I think we were worried about some notoriety emerging, or sorry, not notoriety, some evidence emerging out of the search for clues. So when we're done the expedition, excuse me, we're going to be using the Callagine to get rid of the evidence, and that's going to be the best way that we can deal with that eventuality. Oh yes, I remember. So we also had Glover and Glover. So once the talk verb becomes available, I think I have a solution. There's a couple of things that I can try and do with Glover and Glover, but I want to try something new if I can. The only other remaining question I suppose that I have is there anything I can do with the study verb right now? I guess not. Other than, just the usual, get something that something like erudition or health or whatever. Now it turns out it wouldn't have actually been the worst thing in the world if I got the dread from the winter, because we've got a season of fascination coming up. Although if I can just avoid generating fascination, so much the better. In from the night. So Yzabet, I'm fine with that, and it's Lee. So we'll see where the long has taken this. Our spy has returned to us. In pain we are born, in hunger we are embraced, in delight we are devoured. These are the gates of the body, and this is her promise. Not all that is born decays. In remembrance of that promise, we give ourselves to the feast. So we have a dexterous disciple now. Savor's blood. I need to find something to do with the delightful blood before too long. And the sick room grows close and stale. It is time to get up. So I could go back to the Mantis. Let's maybe give the season of... Well, I guess the season of visions is going to hit one way or the other. We can go through the stag door. Talk-wise, I suppose I can at least get a commission from Dr. Adim. The dead watch us closely, expressionless as saint statues, but we are invested with the power of winter. Probably the dead will recognize that. Now this is because we're at 7 winter. If we add a little bit more power, we can take it to 10, which is the best outcome. The dead circle the edge of our vision like frayed dreams. The very air around us is chill with winter's shadow. They must recognize that. So it's important to remember there are no guarantees in Cultist Simulator, at least as far as those events are concerned. So you can have the highest, values possible, and you'll still run into trouble on occasion. But this is one of the reasons why I worry about stuff like the balance of probabilities. I try to have a little bit of extra money in the bank, excuse me, just to prepare for those eventualities. We're a little light now. If we fail this one, I believe that's it for the expedition. I don't think I'm gonna... No, that's not true. I'm working at Glover and Glover, but it'll be a little dicey. So we'll wait it out for now. I do not believe that you have properly understood the importance of our work here. This task will require your full attention. Add reason to satisfy Mr. Alden. So this is the drawback about trying to get promoted at Glover and Glover. Dr. Alden is breathing down your neck. There is a reason why this has the annoyance aspect, and you're sort of under the scrutiny of a rather intolerable boss, but we'll find a way of dealing with that. I'm certain that my adversary has lodged a copy of their notes elsewhere, with their solicitor, with their superior, or even with a contact in the press. This is troubling. Oh, you know what? Saliba is not yet all that he can be. I wonder if it's possible. So I take the Anthic Elaboration. So stained gloves I've had before. Oh, we can turn them into Cyprian. Huh. Alright. I'm suspecting that the Delightful Blood's a little much to ask. Yeah. Okay, well, that's rather important. I thought I wasn't able to upgrade Saliba and Rhaenyra. Clearly, I was mistaken. So that's an upgrade I could have done quite some time ago. On this occasion, I have determined that your work is of an acceptable standard. You may go. Be punctual tomorrow, please. There may be ways to deal with Mr. Alden. So the good news here is that when you get promoted, you get more money. The bad news is that I need to be at work within 50 seconds. I have a way I'm going to deal with that, though. So I need a little bit more money. I'm going to do a substantial commission on heart. Now, normally this would get me in trouble at work. There's substantial treaties on heart lore. But I'm going to see if there's a way around this. Again, I'm trying something new here, so this may backfire on me, but I'd be interested in seeing if I can make it turn out. Okay, so we've got our Forgotten Chronicles. Let's try the Painted River. The edge of the hours is drawn towards the bloodiest wards. Afterwards, the histories are braided like hair. There's a great chamber in the mansis through which the Painted River flows. The vagabond, it is claimed, painted it from memory in the years before she left the house. Certainly, there are histories concealed in its design. I traced them with my hand last night. There were fragments of aquamarine paint beneath my nails, flecks of gold leaf when I was done. So then the question will be, is there anything else I want to do with the dream slot? Not right now. What I'm really looking for is actually the job slot, or the talk and the job slot, but both of those are currently being occupied. The dead draw back, their almost faces flat and watchful. They will not trouble us. So I believe that is it for the expedition. I may want to try and preempt any investigation by loading in a heart follower. But of course I want to use the job slot for other things. So mirrors are calm, the sun is steady, the glory recedes. I'm saying if that means anything. No fascination drives your visions. It's over for now. And it is a season of ambitions coming up, so I do need to find something to do with the Delightful Blood reasonably quickly. By the copper and crow, by she for whom we hunger and she who hungers for us, I pledge myself to be the feaster and the feast. I will be devoured and will devour. And now Saliba. Saliba's charisma strikes with the force of a hammer. It is horribly difficult to refuse his desires. So my question here is significant conversations in a smoky meeting room. What do I need from my follower? So traditionally, I've sent some kind of an alien god to deal with Mr. Alden. I'm kind of curious if a Grail follower will... there we go. Send an irresistible minion to ensnare and disgrace and annoyance. I want this irritation out of my way. They may even enjoy their downfall. So this, of course, gives me the time to work on commissions as well. Unfortunately, I haven't figured out what I'm doing with the Delightful Blood, so I think that's going to turn into Dread. I finished the manuscript. So normally I would use a Delightful Blood in some kind of a ritual, but I've obviously used up the... Well, sorry, there was a ritual I could have done. Normally I'm thinking of, like, upgrading someone. Let's just take the Trembling Heat. Gearby was weeping again. I scooped up his molten tears in my cupped palm. In the dream, my skin peeled and blistered, but only in the dream. So we might be able to use the Trembling Heat. I'm a little more worried about how I'm going to deal with the dread that emerges. And I'm going to leave the dream slot open because we're going to be getting some Delightful Blood around the time that I need it. Well, I guess I have 3 minutes, so... Okay, the air is stale, the dust sifts worryingly down the rock above, but the dead lie still. This chamber, with its chalked figures and ancient stains, looks promising. In a lead-lined sarcophagus lies the skeleton of a woman. She wasn't buried here. It looks like she crawled in to die. Something has happened to the shape of her skull, pushing out the jaw like the muzzle of a beast. Scraps of rotting linen swathe her bones. Treasures lie among the remains of her clutching hands between her ribs. So we have quite a few disciples coming back. Eau Claire, we've got the Notoriety, which we knew was coming. Violet, we've got the Callagine, which I'm going to be using in the talk verb in a little bit. Valsine, who is my Forge follower, and then Pope Clifton. For my efforts, I have a Bronze Spintrea, a cracked Wildering Mirror, so that's going to be another use for the talk verb before too long. And, we can describe that. A deep crack runs through the shimmering metal. A Forge aspected follower could repair it with sufficient resources, or I could use up what power remains in it. And we've got Betty's Blade. A cut from this blade will not cease bleeding until the wound is healed. One account is that Betty was a knife-collecting surgeon highwayman in 18th century Toulouse. Another claims Betty is the bastardization of an Arabic word for mosquito. This is a fairly powerful edge artifact. So this is 8 compared to the Meteoric Bullet, which was power 4. So generally we're looking pretty good. Now, I could try and go to Kerishim right away. That would be good, given that I have the Callagine that I may want to use, but I probably should deal with my funds. Excuse me. So the question is, do I want to try and sell some of the Spintrea, or maybe do I want to get rid of some of my other possessions? For now, I think I'm going to start selling some of the books, because I don't believe the long can take my my Spintrea. So Oriflammes, let's start by selling something deep mystery something. This oddity is probably worth something. It's hard to be sure. So one thing I could try and also do to deal with the dread from the Delightful Blood is try and get contentment from the Ecdysis Club, but that uses up rather important funds, which I currently don't have access to. All right, so there's the dread. Couriers arrived from our delight with a single vial of their most holy blood. So we have a minute before we're going to need to use that. The auctioneer's gavel bangs, my item is sold. Okay, so that's good. I'm not going to use it at the Ecdysis Club quite yet. Let's try and sell Gildersleeves next. Again, this is mostly just because I can. And then finish the manuscript. Nope, I await word. Of course, this is the drawback of dealing with Alden, is it's going to lock up my resources for the next little while. I suppose one thing I could do, I wasn't expecting this, but this is not a terrible way of handling my current situation. I do wish I had a little more reputation. We'll paint. What do I want to paint? I'll paint my dread. It should have an impact. I don't think I'll pay for the paints unless we get a windfall from Gilders. Oh, yeah. I didn't even pay attention to what the attack was. So for now, our enemy has chosen to wait. Not good news for me, though. My minion has returned. They found a particular temptation to which our annoyance succumbed readily at the small cost of the utter destruction of their reputation. A man called Alden is gone. I may find matters easier when I return to work. Okay, so I timed this a little poorly because I could have gotten some extra reputation by simply turning in these commissions. But I want to be a little bit careful about how I order things. So the first thing I think I'm going to do, if I'm going to level up Rhaenyra, I have to do that now because the blood's not going to be enough. So let's get that started. Having a spare Cyprian in the pocket is never a bad thing. So Rhaenyra's description. Rhaenyra commands admiration wherever she goes. She reserves her attentions for those who merit admiration in return. Only a rare few, those most suited to the service of her mysteries, may achieve this rank. So that's going to take a minute. Colors of Night, I could spend money on better paints, or perhaps I could find more exotic pigments. So we just got 1 funds out of this. On the other hand, you know what, I will spend funds just in hopes that we get something a little bit better. Let's go to Oriflammes again, and time to sell our poetry. And Season of Visions is coming up, so that is going to be the best place for my dread. This is actually working out quite nicely. This is coming out better than usual. I've created something distinctive and beautiful. It will very likely enhance my reputation. So let's get the Forlorn Blood dealt with first. I consume the little vial of blood, lie back, close my eyes. Tomorrow I will be stronger. Auctioneer's gavel bangs. My item is sold. And my recent work is considered significant. I may yet earn a living from this, but nothing is certain. Now we got... Oh dear. We've got 2 sources of fascination now. That is a shame. And we didn't get any money. That's terrible. All right. So I've got 8 seconds to deal with it. The problem is that there's nothing I can really do about the fascination now. I'm much recovered. More than that, I'm sumptuous. The sclera of my eyes, the veins in my wrists are aswim with gorgeous serums. When the vitulation comes, I will be the centerpiece for our delight to prove their appetite, to enact the Grail. Alright. So, let me think a little bit about how all of this is going to work. I have... I actually have all the time in the world. So let's take our lantern. So I'll just slam in all of the different commissions all at once. Slee's back, so let's send... we can send Slee back in again. By the copper and crow, by she for whom we hunger, and she who hungers for us. I pledge myself to be the feaster and the feast. I will be devoured, and I will devour. Rhaenyra receives tokens from admirers almost daily. Some gifts are flowers, others poetry. Sometimes she receives jewels. Sometimes desperate gifts wrapped tightly in blood-stained crepe paper. So these 2 Cyprians, so if you are not familiar with Cultist Simulator, these are sort of your super followers. So you can have followers within your cult who basically they will how do I want to put it? They can go up to level 10 of the aspect that you have. The one exception to that will be if you do the Secret Histories cult. But basically, if you're a Winter cult, you can have level 10 Winter. If you have Edge, you can have level 10 Edge. And depending on your preferred way of solving problems, this can make the game relatively easy for you. I'm sorry for the time that I'm taking, but I need to think a little bit about how I'm going to manage this fascination. So a few different things I'm going to work on. So my scheme will most likely succeed. There's always a chance something will go awry. So the Callagine was just sort of sitting unused for a while. Not crazy about that. Exploration-wise, let's just clear out my my unneeded books. Okay, dream-wise, I can at least combine... oops, wrong combo. So I can combine the fascination and the dread. Because I got the fascination from the painting, I'm going to have to... I'm going to have to think of a way... Well, I can't really think of a way. What I'm going to have to do is just wait for either a dread or a reminiscence. So we'll be okay for money. I'm going to start the timer again once we go to the position of Glover and Glover. Okay, contentment's coming up. That's not too important to me right now. And unfortunately, we didn't get any books, so the study verb's just kind of getting ignored. And actually, we're at the almost the 20-minute mark. So we've sold our book of poetry and we've upgraded our Cyprians. So I think we will call it there. Thank you again for watching. I will see some of you on Friday. If you do enjoy these videos and you've not yet subscribed, do feel free to hit the button. It does help me out. You can use the little bell if you want to be notified with new videos. And of course, I do enjoy reading your comments whenever you offer them. So the usual things, if you like or if you subscribe or you comment, those things help me kind of keep doing this. But if it's just a pleasant diversion for you that you don't want to make the deeper commitment for, I hope you enjoyed your time here. And I will see some of you at least on Friday.